Hey everybody, welcome back. If you're new here, hi, I'm Mercury. Welcome to my channel. It's my daily vlog, so whatever I happen to be up to is what you're gonna see right here. And today I am prep cooking for Thanksgiving. So I'm bringing dessert to Thanksgiving. I'm gonna be cooking other things on Thanksgiving Day, but my dessert is a do ahead. So I have this wonderful recipe. I tried this last year around Christmas for like the dessert I brought. And it was a big hit. Even for people who don't eat the way I eat, this dessert was a huge hit. So there's a website called Bakerita. Amazing, amazing recipes on this website. I'm gonna put the link in the description to my video. I can't say enough good things about this website and the different recipes that they have up there. But today I'm going to be making the recipe from their website for a chocolate peanut butter cheesecake. There's no cheese. This is going to be a dairy-free, refined sugar-free dessert heaven for me and, you know, my family. And for you if you make this recipe too. It is delicious. So, off to the kitchen. This recipe gets made in 3 stages. First stage is the crust. Second stage is the filling. And the third stage is the chocolatey topping. So we're gonna start with the crust. What do you need? You need almond flour, peanuts, cocoa, coconut oil, salt, and honey. The recipe calls for maple syrup, but my modification is honey. So there is some hardware you're gonna need to make this. The first is the food processor. The second is a blender. And the third is a springform pan. To make the crust, all of the crust ingredients are gonna go right into the food processor. It's gonna get blended up until like a paste, like a dough. It's gonna get pushed into that springform pan, which by the way should either be greased or lined with parchment paper. So that is what we are gonna do right now. First we need the peanuts. Then almond flour. Then we need some cocoa powder. Now it's time for some honey. Next, we need coconut oil. And last up, some salt. Gonna put the lid on, and we're gonna mix it up until it becomes a dough. Take this blade out, and let me show you all the wonder. Look at all that chocolatey goodness. That is chocolate peanut bliss right there. So the next step, we're gonna take this and push it into the springform pan. Okay, so I have my parchment paper in my springform pan, and in goes the crust dough. Let me just scrape out all this extra goodness. There we go. Now we just take our hand and we just mush it into place. Just mush it in. And you want it to be a good even layer across the whole bottom. This is like the consistency of Play-Doh. It's so easy to sort of put into place. Okay, so it should look like this once you have it all smushed into the pan. Now we're going to make the cheesecake. And I say it with these air quotes like this because there's absolutely no cheese involved whatsoever. So for the filling, you're going to need soaked cashew nuts. So this is 1.5 cups of cashews that have been soaking. The recipe calls for a 4-hour soak. I used hot water and I did a 2-hour soak. Hoping that'll be okay. Usually the hot water will speed up the process a little bit. Then you're going to need coconut milk. Of course, peanut butter. More honey. Recipe again called for maple syrup, but this is my substitution. More coconut oil. Vanilla extract. Lemon juice, because this is what's going to give it that tang like a real cheesecake, but the lemon juice is what's going to give it that kind of flavor. And then salt. So we're going to put all of the ingredients into the blender, and I have my big bucket from my Ninja blender, and that's what I'm going to be using. This thing is awesome, super powerful, and these blades are really sharp. But yeah, this thing does me right every time. So all of the ingredients are going to go into the blender. I'm going to go, and then we are going to pour that on top of that crust that we put in the springform pan. Okay, and go with the cashews. Next is a coconut milk. It's always good to shake the coconut milk because it has solids in it and you want to try to get them good and incorporated. You'll see. My apartment's a bit chilly, so it's pretty solid. So we're going to take this spoon and mix it up. Whoops. That just made a mess. Over the summer, I don't have this problem, but as the weather gets cooler, it tends to separate, which is not a big deal for baking because it's all going to melt down. I just need to, I don't want it to be, totally liquid or totally solid. I want it to be a good blending of them. So I just have to mix it up a little first. Next we have peanut butter. This one I love. It's 100% peanuts, not just a catchy name. It is just peanuts. But with many natural peanut butters, you gotta give it a little stir. The oil tends to separate out. Next we need the coconut oil. Next I need to use the lemon juice. Then vanilla. And last, a bit of salt. I'm going to put my lid on my blender. And I'm going to put this on the base and we'll send it a whirling. So I have my crust here in this pan. I have my filling. I'm gonna scoop this deliciousness right off of there. You're gonna pour everything from this blender into this pie pan. I don't know if pour is the right word, it's very thick, but it's super silky smooth. Now just spread it around. You want to get it nice and even and smooth. Doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, there's going to be chocolate on top, but we want to get it pretty even if we can. And no air bubbles. Air bubbles are the enemy. So now that this is all in the pan, I'm going to put it in the refrigerator to set up for a while. It's got to chill in there for several hours. And then when that's all set up, that's when we're going to do the chocolate covering. Ooh, stay tuned. I'll be back in a few seconds. It's the next day, and I let the cake filling on the crust set up in the freezer overnight. So I came back, and now it's time to cover it in chocolatey goodness. For me, because I can't have refined sugar and it's difficult to find chocolate that I can have like commercially available, what I do is I take the baker's chocolate and then I add honey to it. So what I have in this bowl is a chopped up bar of the baker's chocolate. So that's what's here. Now what I'm going to do, that leftover coconut milk, I'm going to take some of this and heat it up on the stove. Don't let it boil. Don't even let it simmer. You want it to steam. And once it's hot, we're going to pour it over the chocolate and add the honey and mix it up. And then that is going to get poured over top of the cake. So I'm also going to prep the cake. So this happens really fast. We don't want it to cool down and then the ganache gets hard. And so we're going to have the cake and it's going to get set on this wire rack with like foil underneath so that it just drips through, easy to clean up. And so it'll be like a little station. So that's what we're gonna do right now. So while this coconut milk is heating up on the stove, we're gonna go over here and look at the cake. So this is the cake, it's still cold, it's out of the freezer. The edges are a little rough, but honestly, I'm not too worried about that because the chocolate's gonna get poured over it. But you could see there's a distinct layer between the crust and the filling, and that is what I was looking for. So if you want it to look like prettier and neater, you can just take a knife, probably like if you soak it in water to warm it up and smooth out the edges. I'm not overly concerned by it because chocolatey goodness is gonna go right on top. So we are watching this coconut milk very carefully so that it doesn't boil. We just want it to be really steaming hot, but not boiling. Gotta keep a close eye on it. Now we're gonna mix this up, let that chocolate melt. And I have the honey right here. So as this chocolate melts, I'm gonna add that honey in. I don't have a specific amount, I just do it to taste. Okay, I need both hands. Gotta start adding the honey in. Oh yeah, so this is the consistency that we want it to be. So you can see it's nice and rich and smooth. Okay, now we're gonna pour this right on top. Put it up. We'll start there, and if we need to scrape out this goodness, there we go. So it doesn't drip. And then just spread it about. And you want it to go over the edge. You want it to drip over the sides. And if you want, you could even go around and make it like smooth around the edge too. However you want to do it. It's your cake. Make it as smooth or as drippy as you want. Whatever style you want. Me, I have enough chocolate to go around that I am gonna Try to get it nice and smooth all the way around. So now that we have our cake covered in the chocolate, back into either the refrigerator or the freezer. If you're going to be serving it this day, it goes in the fridge. If you're going to be serving it in the future, the freezer is fine. But the chocolate is still soft, so don't put any kind of like foil on it until that chocolate like is firm. Otherwise it'll be sticky and it'll, you know, make a mess. So that cake looks like it's gonna be delicious. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I got some batter on my fingers and I tasted it. It's really good. It's really, I'm really excited to have dessert at Thanksgiving. This cake is fantastic. It's rich and it's creamy. It's chocolatey and peanut buttery and it's got all those good flavors. So if you like chocolate and you like peanut butter, this is a great recipe. Check out the Bakerita site. They have awesome recipes over there. So with that, I am off. Have a great Thanksgiving and I will see you all tomorrow. And until then, stay inspired by everyone. Take care.